Namaste learners, I am going to start first chapter of physics, class 11. Before starting the topic, I want to discuss something about the science. What is the science? Known as scientia. Scientia is the scientia word comes from a Latin word, and this is known as to know. To know means जानना, और in Sanskrit it is known as Bijnan. In Sanskrit known as Bijnan, और in Hindi we call Vigyan. And in Arabic language it is known as ilm. It is known as, all are written in NCERT book. In Latin, scientia means to know, जानकारी हासिल करना. Sanskrit, Bijnan, and in Hindi it is also Vigyan, and Arabic it is called ilm, ILM. Science is just like a know something systematically, and that's why I am written here. Science is a systematic attempt to understand natural phenomena. The purpose of science to explore the things of natural phenomena, and this is the branches of science. Generally, two branches of science: biological science and physical science. Biological science explains the botany, zoology, ornithology, anthropology, entomology, and forensic science, and more, etc. There are so many branches of biological science. And now the physical science, it is our purpose. In physical science, chemistry, physics, space and time, motion, matter, energy, radiation, these all are in physical science. And one is the geology. Geology is also a very good branches of science, geology. And geography, as you know, astronomy, astrology, even astrology in the subject of science, and cosmology. There are so many branches of science, and don't panic about this. We are very common to know about the science. Means there are two terms you always remember. The word science comes from a Latin word known as scientia, and this means to know something systematic. To know, the first word is to know, and second word is systematic. There are two words only you remember to define the science. Science is the study of something systematically, is known as science. And science is a systematic attempt to understand the natural phenomena, is also called science. According to the NCERT, there are two terms are given. One is the scientific theory to be accepted must be verified by relevant observations and experiments. Means there are two words: observations and experiment. Observations and experiments are backbone of experiments are backbone of one thing. Also measurement, observations, experiments, measurement, also measurement, observations, experiments, and measurement are backbone of science. This is very important. These three words of science: observation, experiments, measurement, these three are backbone of science. Then NCERT written very clearly, a scientific theory to be accept किया जाता है कब? जब वो ऑब्जर्वेशंस पर बेस्ड हो या एक्सपेरिमेंट पे बेस्ड हो. एंड द सेकेंड इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन फ्रॉम द एनसीईआरटी बुक, देयर इज नो फाइनल थ्योरी इन साइंस. देयर इज नो फाइनल थ्योरी इन साइंस. साइंस में कोई भी फाइनल थ्योरी नहीं होता है. मतलब ये नहीं कि अब कोई थ्योरी आ गया मार्केट में, अब उसमें मॉडिफिकेशन नहीं हो सकता है. मॉडिफिकेशन हो सकता है और होता ही है. जैसे रिलेटिविस्टिक थ्योरी ऑफ आइंस्टाइन, बोर्स रदरफोर्ड्स थ्योरी, एम्पियर्स सर्कुटल लॉ थ्योरी. देयर आर सो मेनी थ्योरीज given by the scientist and modify after the few years or more years. Okay, then there are two lines I have discussed here, and the third things are scientific method. What is the scientific method? Scientific method, somebody claim I do work scientifically or follow the scientific method. Scientific method has following things. The first thing is observations, second thing is experiments, and qualitative and quantitative reasoning. Qualitative means derivations and some other thing, and quantitative means numbers of observations and number of some things. Predictions, अनुमान लगाना. Verification, verify करना. Speculation is also a type of predictions. Conjecture is also a type of conjecture, predictions and speculations. There are three things are similar meaning, just like अनुमान लगाना या तुक्का लगाना, this type of words. And then scientific methods means observation. अभी just discussed I observations. What is observations? किसी चीज को देखना, बार बार देखना, उस देखे हुए चीज पे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करना. एक्सपेरिमेंट्स बार बार उसको अपने जो भी बात है, जो कही गई बात है, उस पे सारे एंगल से सोच करके एक निष्कर्ष पे आना कि ये सही है कि नहीं. अगर कुछ पढ़ते भी हैं, कुछ जानते भी हैं, तो उसके अपने हिसाब से उस पर अमल कीजिए कि वो कितना सही है, कितना गलत है. तो वो एक तरह का ऑब्जर्वेशन हम देखें. एक्सपेरिमेंट्स, उस पर हम बहुत बार बार एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए. वेरिफिकेशन भी करते हैं, है ना, अपने अलग अलग तरीका से वेरिफिकेशन भी करते हैं, मेजरमेंट भी करते हैं. मानिए कि कोई व्यक्ति कह दिया कि इसका लेंथ 1 मीटर है, तो हम 1 मीटर मान नहीं लेंगे, 1 मीटर उसको मेजरमेंट करेंगे. कोई व्यक्ति कह दिया कि मेरा तो मिल्क बहुत प्योर है ना, आई हैव प्योर मिल्क, देन दिस इज नॉट ए सिंपली एक्सेप्टेड. जस्ट यू डू experiment for the checking of pureness of the milk and salt and oils, and these all things are, and some things are very important to explore the truth of science, and this is the based on the observations, experiments. Now our purpose to explore the concept of physics, and physics is a very interesting subject alone. Physics is a word from the Greek word. It is a Greek word, and it means nature. It means nature. Means in single word, a study of nature is called physics. A study of nature is called physics. Is called physics. Simply a study of nature. And if you want to some modify this one, then the natural phenomena, a study of natural phenomena is called physics. Physics, a study of natural phenomena is what? Why earth is spherical? Why a water droplets is spherical? Why an object just fall on the earth? These type of questions, and earth moves around the sun, revolves, and also rotational motion, revolutionary motion. These all are answered in the subject of physics. That is why it is called natural phenomena. Physics can also be defined as the physics as a study of the basic laws of nature and their manifestations in different natural phenomena. Simply, it is known as a study of natural phenomena is called physics. In other language, physics as a study of the basic laws of nature and their manifestation in different natural phenomena. Now I am going to discuss about the syllabus of class 11 physics. Syllabus, there are 10 units in physics syllabus. One by one, the unit 1, physical world and measurement, and this is my today's topic, physical world and measurement. But the chapter, the first chapter physical world, second one units and measurement, and these are. And one thing, here is the marks allotted for the chapter wise, just like up to laws of motion 23 marks, okay, and up to this one to gravitation, okay, gravitation up to 17 marks, and these properties, thermodynamics, behavior of gases, these all are the 20 marks, and last the 10 marks. You can take a screenshot to all these things. Okay. Then, as given in class 11, theory portion, theory means with numericals, theory with numericals 70 marks, and practical exam 30 marks, practical 30 marks, and totally the 100 marks. In examination purpose, practical examination means 30 marks. In new syllabus 2020 to 21, two experiments are asked. Will ask experiments to each of 7 plus 7 equal to 14 marks, and one activity 1, it is of 3 marks. One demonstration or project, investigatory project, 3 marks, and record book 5 marks only, 5 marks, and viva, oral exam 5 marks, total becomes 30. Okay, this is the 30 marks and this is the 70 marks, total 100 marks. 100 marks of physics will ask in your examination, and these portions, experiment portion, one thing I want to suggest to you, the big question or confusion in your stage, which is more important, a schooling or coaching, and which one is better? Both are better, don't worry, but means a schooling depends upon theoretical things and the experimental things also. These portions, just I want to show you two different things. Just I sketch the school and coaching, two different things. Coaching. This is the school, this is the coaching. And the first topic is theory. Suppose in a school level it becomes 100 out of 100. theory is completed, but here is approximate 50 to 60% theory and can be found. The first thing is theory, and here is also theory, and the second thing is numericals here approximate 50% or 60% will be, and here approximate 90% numericals will be covered. And the third things is experiment, and in coaching there is no facility or very less facility or less time for the experiment. And one, here is 100, here is 0, and the final score between coaching and school is, here is 250 and here is only 150, and the difference is very big, the difference is 100. And your choice, which one is better? Just there are three parts in physics. Physics means not only theory, physics means the balanced things. The theory portion should be balanced, theory plus numericals plus experiment. There are three things in physics of class 11. Each and every are very important. If these three are not balanced, then the subject must be boring, or you not interested in physics as complained by students. And this is your choice, which one is better for your career. Now I am going to discuss about the unification and reductionism. Unification and reductionism, two things are very common in physics. Unification means it is the act of unifying the different laws to define a many phenomena. Just like example, gravitational force. Gravitational force is applicable to define sun is at center and moon is here. One thing is this, and second thing is gravitational force. A body moves on the earth. This is the earth. Both phenomena, the motion of object and moon revolves around the earth, both are understood by a single law known as gravitational law. That's why it is important of unification. From a single law, there are so many things can be understood, and this is called unification. And the next thing is reductionism. Reductionism is effort to solve a complex problem by breaking into simpler parts. Suppose that kinetic energy, this is the average kinetic energy of gas particles, gas molecules. Average kinetic energy of gas molecules, and this average kinetic energy directly proportional to the absolute temperature. This means average kinetic energy is related with, you understand, by the temperature rise and fall of temperature. Due to rise of temperature, also understand internal energy of a system. Then this type of understanding is included in reductionism, and that's why reductionism is also called heart of physics. This is called heart of physics. Isliye reductionism is also very important. And the next three things, microscopic and microscopic. There are three domains. Here is written two. Actually, two are important, but three is added, and that's why it is also known as three. Actually, two are given, but nowadays three is counted. Then first is macroscopic. Macroscopic means कुछ बड़ा सा, बृहद सा, जिसको हम देख सके, इजीली देख सके, जैसे लेबोरेटरी में टेरेस्ट्रियल एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल, जिसको हम लेबोरेटरी में काम कर सके, पृथ्वी पर कुछ रखा हुआ है उसका हम स्टडी कर सके, जो एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल टेलीस्कोप से हम देख सके उस चीज बाहर के, जो प्लैनेट्स का मोशन हुआ, ये सब जो हुआ, ये सब हम लोग माइक्रोस्कोपिक में काउंट करते हैं। प्लैनेटरी मोशन हुआ, अर्थ का शेप, ये सब जो होगा वो माइक्रोस्कोपिक में काउंट करते हैं। सेकेंड थिंग है माइक्रोस्कोपिक। माइक्रोस्कोपिक मीन्स इन रेंज ऑफ एटम्स, मोलिक्यूल्स, न्यूक्लियस, दीज ऑल आर कैटेगराइज्ड इन माइक्रोस्कोपिक। photons, electrons, protons, neutrons, and some elementary particles. Just like elementary particles means inside the nucleus. There are so many particles inside the nucleus and grouped in bosons, leptons, baryons, pions, and mesons. This is the elementary particles. Then these particles are studied in a domain of physics is called microscopic. And the third one is mesoscopic. Mesoscopic means intermediate of macroscopic and microscopic. Intermediate of microscopic and microscopic. And this is of few tens atoms or hundreds atom. Few tens atom or 100 atoms. This is called mesoscopic. Then one thing is here I want to discuss. One thing is here. Okay. This microscopic explains in those physics known as those part of physics known as classical physics. Classical physics. Classical physics includes mainly mechanics. Mechanics. First thing is mechanics. Mechanics means motion of body or Newton's laws of motion. Newton's laws of motion. Even gravitation also. The second thing is electrodynamics. The second thing is electrodynamics. Electrodynamics means current, electricity, and magnetism. And third is optics, means a study of light. And the next thing is thermodynamics. And this is the flow of heat. These all are grouped, studied in the that part of physics known as the classical physics. Classical physics. This is the classical physics. And the part of microscopic, once again I repeat it, mechanics means motion of body and Newton's laws of motion. Second, electrodynamics. And third is optics, and fourth one is the thermodynamics, flow of heat. And the next is microscopic, studied in the domains of physics, that's like a modern physics. This is the modern physics. But nowadays it is better to understand in quantum mechanics. Nowadays quantum mechanics is a part of another just like a part of physics which explains the atoms, photons, electrons, and the elementary particles of atom. These are those branch of physics, quantum mechanics, in which we study about the elementary particles of atoms. And this is the microscopic and this is the macroscopic. Macroscopic explained classical physics. Classical physics means mechanics, thermodynamics, electrodynamics, optics. These all are in classical physics. And in modern physics or quantum mechanics explains the elementary charged particles or atoms, molecules, or nucleus. Okay, this is the. Now, the next topic is a scope of physics. A scope of physics is truly vast within nucleus to universe. Means फिजिक्स को हम लोग न्यूक्लियस के अंदर से विदिन न्यूक्लियस से लेकर के ब्रह्मांड अंतिम छोर तक हम इसका अध्ययन कर सकते हैं। किसके अंतर्गत? फिजिक्स के अंतर्गत। दैट्स व्हाई द स्कोप ऑफ फिजिक्स इज वेरी वास्ट एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड ट्रू वास्ट, ट्रूली वास्ट। बहुत बड़ा, रेंज बहुत बड़ा। इस स्केल बनाया गया है, साइज स्केल, टाइम स्केल एंड मास स्केल। देयर आर थ्री स्केल ऑफ द स्कोप ऑफ फिजिक्स। The first is, this is the size of nucleus, this is of size of universe, size of known universe, size of known universe. This is the size of nucleus. Okay, and this is the time scale, means S equal to ct, then t equal to s by c. S is the distance by a speed of light, distance by a speed of light, and as you know, c equal to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, means 10 to the power minus 22 seconds to 10 to the power 18 सेकेंड। मतलब लाइट को ट्रेवल करने में यूनिवर्स को इतना टाइम लगेगा और न्यूक्लियस को ट्रेवल करने में इतना टाइम लगेगा। दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड टाइम स्केल and mass scale. This is the mass of electron and this is the mass of known universe. This is mass of known universe. Known universe in the sense the scientist up to which, a physicist up to which known about the celestial bodies, and that is called known universe. Okay, means somewhere a known universe is also possible, and that's why it is called known universe. Now the next topic is physics in relation to other. Physics related to the mathematics, means mathematics is the backbone of physics. Mathematics is your tools of physics. Mathematics is the tools of physics. And second thing relation is Newton is a mathematician and he invented or calculus, gave the calculus and also the gravitation, law of gravitation, and that's why mathematics is very near to physics. And other thing is that physics, how physics related with the chemistry, then due to the X-ray diffraction phenomena and radioactivity, explain the atoms arranged in periodic table according to the atomic number, and physics helps chemistry regarding the arrangement of periodic table according to the atomic number. Physics in biology very important, just like X-ray purpose, radiology, MIR. These are the another part of physics. CT scan. So many devices given by the physics for the study of electron microscope. Without electron microscope, a cell cannot be explored, and that's why physics very helpful for the biology. And next is the geology. Geology is the physics is the by the diffraction process a study about the crystal structure. By the which process? Diffraction process. Crystal structure is studied with the help of diffraction. And now the astrology means with the help of a telescope, motion of planet and other celestial body helps the astrology. And next is the seismology. भूकंप वगैरह आता है तो उसके लिए भी जो मेजरमेंट करने का डिवाइस है वो हेल्प करता है फिजिक्स ही। मेट्रियोलॉजी मींस वेदर फोरकास्ट, जो वेदर फोरकास्ट होता है उसमें भी फिजिक्स बहुत हेल्पफुल है। नेक्स्ट देन लास्ट इज द सोसाइटी, लास्ट बट नॉट लिस्ट सोसाइटी, फैन, ट्यूब, कंप्यूटर, computer, telegram, telegraph. There are lots of lists here to help society by the physics, and this is the physics in relation to other. Okay. Now next topic is fundamental forces. Fundamental forces. Fundamental forces for the microscopic bodies. Microscopic bodies. As you know, just I discussed what is the microscopic bodies. There are two forces. The first is gravitational force. Gravitational force. You studied in class 9. The force between two objects, the force of attraction between two objects, F and F, whose mass is m1 and m2, and the distance between these two are r. Distance between these two is r, small r, and this force is directly proportional to product of masses and inversely proportional to r square. It means F equal to m1 m2 by r square from equation 1 and 2. This G is proportionality constant. Proportionality constant. Proportionality constant. And its value is 6.67 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square by kilogram square. As you know, the gravitational force is between two objects, okay, and there is no effect when intervening medium is placed. It is not affected. And the second is electrostatic force, electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force. This is the second type, electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force is first is the electrostatic force. Electrostatic force, and this force is acted between two charges. Between two charges. This one is the between two masses. Between two mass. Two massive body. This is the two charges. Means when two charges Q1 and Q2 is kept at a distance r, then force is directly proportional to Q1, Q2 and also inversely proportional to this, and it becomes this is the K into Q1, Q2 by r square. You may write F equal to 1/4 pi epsilon naught Q1, Q2 by r square. Here also K is proportionality constant. Proportionality constant. And you will study more in class 12. And the second thing is magnetic force. Magnetic force between two poles of magnet. Between two poles of magnet. And it is also F equal to mu naught. This is also A m1 m2 by r square. Actually m1 and m2 are the poles of magnet, but you may also call m1 and m2 is magnetic charge. Magnetic charge or pole or poles of magnet. And A is proportionality constant, as this A is proportionality constant. Every proportionality constant has some value. Here is 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square by Coulomb square. Here is also A is, the value of A is mu naught by 4 pi and is equal to 10 to the power minus 7 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per ampere square. Newton per ampere square. Then there are three forces here. One is the gravitational force, and second is the electrostatic force and magnetic force. But both forces are combinedly known as electromagnetic force, because electrostatic force and magnetic force cannot be separated. Why? When a charge is placed at rest, then electrostatic forces are acted. Means two charge placed at a few distances, then electrostatic forces are acted. And when charge in motion, then magnetic force is acted. Okay, and this is why electric force and magnetic force are inseparable, means cannot be separated, and commonly known as electromagnetic force. Okay, this is commonly known as electromagnetic force. Once again I am writing here F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square. m1 and m2 are here mass, m1 and m2 mass represent for the mass. R is the distance between m1 and m2, and capital G is constant known as universal gravitational constant, or this is a proportionality constant. It is also called proportionality constant, and its value is 6.67 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square upon kilogram square. Then second is, this is the gravitational force, this is electrostatic force. Electrostatic force is K Q1 Q2 by R square. Similarly, Q1 and Q2 represents charge, and R is the distance between two charges. And K is proportionality constant. Proportionality constant, and its value is 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square on Coulomb square. And this is the magnetic force. This is A m1 m2 upon r square. Here m1 and m2 are the pole strength, and this is pole strength or magnetic charge, and this is equal to r is distance as it is, and A is proportionality constant, and which is equal to A equal to mu naught by 4 pi and is equal to 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per ampere square. How it comes? Ampere is just like this is mu naught by 4 pi, and we want to find then is Newton meter square. This is the I square L square, and this one I square L square means length. Then it becomes N Newton. This is the ampere square. This one is meter square. This one is meter square. This is cancelled. The remaining is Newton per ampere. Electromagnetic force is present in just like contact force. Second means one body is contact with the other body, then the electrons and protons of the first body acted the force on the second body. The second thing is force of friction, also electromagnetic nature. Force of friction, don't worry. Force of friction is also electrons and protons attraction. A spring force also means elastic force in a spring. Elastic force in a spring is also elastic force in a spring is also electromagnetic in nature. And this is the force, the van der Waals force. Van der Waals force is also electromagnetic in nature. And force in a spring or viscous force means the force between the force due to relative motion between two layers of liquid, that is called viscosity, and viscous force, viscosity. These all are the electromagnetic in nature. A strong nuclear force, a strong nuclear force, nuclear force. A strong nuclear force means the force between two nuclei, the force between two nuclei. Nuclei means either proton, the force between proton, the force between neutron, or the force between proton and neutron. It is called a strong nuclear force. This is not electrostatic, not gravitational force. It is another type of force which is acted between proton and proton, neutron and neutron, proton and why? This is another type of, suppose inside the nucleus proton and proton, the repulsion force between proton and gravitational force between these two, suppose that, then gravitational force is, and this is the electrostatic force, suppose that, electromagnetic force, this is the gravitational force, is equal to 1:10 to the power 36. Means the gravitational force cannot overcome the electrostatic force repulsion. Hence, this is not, the attraction between proton and proton is not electrostatic in nature or not in gravitational nature. Why? Because if gravitational force is 1, then electrostatic force is 10 to the power 36. And nuclear force is, if you want to, nuclear force is, suppose that a strong nuclear force, there are two types of force, a strong nuclear force and weak nuclear force, then 1:10 to the power 36 is to 10 to the power 38. This is very big difference. If gravitational force is 1, then a strong nuclear force is 36, 10 to the power 36, and a strong nuclear force 10 to the power 38, and electrostatic force is 10 to the power 36. Hence, nuclear force is 100 times from electrostatic force. A strong nuclear force is 100 times of 100 times of electromagnetic force. This is, and that's why nuclear force is not a gravitational force, nuclear force is not a electrostatic force. It is a different force which is acted between proton and proton, neutron and neutron, proton and neutron. Weak nuclear force appears between the electron and neutrino. This is called electron and neutrino. This is the weak nuclear force. And it is just like a gravitational force is electromagnetic force is, and it is weak nuclear force, then electromagnetic force, then a strong nuclear force, and the 1:10 to the power 25 and is to 10 to the power 36 is to 10 to the power 38. This is the ratio of all fundamental forces. And this is the beta positive decay, this is the beta negative decay, and commonly is called beta decay. And during the beta decay, the force between electrons and neutrino, the force between, this is called positron, this is called positron and antineutrino, and between the positron and antineutrino a big force is present, and the big nuclear force. Okay, then one last topic is conservation laws. Conservation laws, this is the last topic of first chapter, is conservation laws. Conservation laws. The first is conservation of energy. As you know, neither energy created. Conservation, law of energy. Neither energy created nor be destroyed. As you know, conservation of linear momentum. When external force is zero, then initial momentum is equal to final momentum when external force is zero. You will read further. Conservation of angular momentum. Then angular momentum means initial angular momentum equal to final angular momentum when torque means rotational external force is zero, and it is called conservation of angular momentum. And last one is conservation of charge.